Greetings, welcome to Freshtalk, the first of many videos that will focus on the current state of Project Entropius. Today, we are going to talk about the recent launch of our first live room Freshseeker, what went wrong, and what steps we're going to take in response. Dead on arrival, stock core, cash grab, Karazhan waiting room. By now, we have heard it all. How true are those labels really though? Let's go through them step by step so you can judge for yourself. But first, some basic info about the project. Entropius officially launched on July 10th, 5 days before releasing this video. Our server's code is based on Thundercore, which is the core used by another TBC server before us, Excalibur TBC. A couple of months ago, when Excalibur announced that they were going to shut down permanently, we approached the owner and offered him to continue working on their core, with the goal to create not only a permanent RAM for all the Excalibur characters that were now left without a home, but also to provide a yearly fresh TBC experience that could be a solution to the problem that many private WoW servers are facing, the end of progression. Here's how the concept works in theory. Progression begins in our yearly fresh cycle realm Freshseeker. During the time span of 12 months, you would progress through every tier of PvE content and all the arena seasons until Kil'jaeden is finally sent back to the Twisting Nether. The content is gated of course, so that all players have a chance to progress at the same point in time. Once the cycle ends, your progression made on Freshseeker is transferred to a second realm called the Archive, where you can continue to play as if nothing happened. The Freshseeker realm will now reset and begin its second cycle, so you can choose between farming Sunwell Plateau or starting a new character to progress with. The Archive realm would also be the place where you are able to play your previous Excalibur characters. Sounds good so far, right? Yes, it does. So, now that we established that the concept itself is tempting, why is the current population on Freshseeker so low? Let's tackle that and give you some answers. Issue 1. The remaining bugs of our vanilla content, interface functions, and class mechanics. As we said earlier, the core that we are currently working with was originally not ours, but belonged to the Excalibur team. After receiving the core in late March, our own developers began working on it. At this point, I would like to address the first untrue claim that is going around. We are not the Excalibur team that has decided to relaunch their own server for the sake of going fresh. Yes, some of our support staff did previously work as GMs on the Excalibur server, myself included, but that is it. Anyways, any of you with a background in software development probably have an idea what it feels like to make changes on a code that somebody else has written over a time span of 10 plus years. For the past 4 months, our Entropius developers have worked with little sleep to make the adjustments that were needed for our two-realm concept, and it is fair to say that we are not done yet. However, we are far away from being a stock server as some like to call it. When the first players started leveling right after launch, they had to experience a mix of problems that were news to us, but also some that we've already assumed to be fixed during our PTR phase. Those problems include being unable to add some players to your friends list, Wands and Hunter autoshots becoming stuck, the spirit buff of Campfire stacking, starting area NPCs having incomplete pathing. Those are obviously not all the reported issues, but it should give you an idea of why many of the characters created on July 10th did not make it past the starting areas. Too much focus was put on Outland since it's the heart of TBC, while neglecting the leveling experience too much. As a response to those issues with our Azeroth content, we had to make a decision on how to get as many characters as possible into Outland, where we think our scripting does indeed shine. After a long discussion on Discord with our community, the experience rates were increased to ×4 from originally ×2, which allowed you to reach Hellfire Peninsula much more quickly. Some of you, including a couple people on our own Discord, are probably going to think now, hey, if you already know that your Azeroth isn't scripted that great, why not offer instant level 58 or 60 boosts so they can jump right into Outland, fix the class-related issues and go from there? That is indeed an approach to the issue at hand, but it also comes with a couple of drawbacks. First of all, we do not want to devalue the time that players have already spent while leveling on Freshseeker. Sure, gaining new players and increasing the population is important, but so is making sure that those who have chosen to stick with us despite the current situation, are not thrown out of the window. We have seen similar situations on other servers before, where offering level boosts led to a divide between population. We don't want to make the same mistake. Those still leveling, questing, giving us feedback on Discord or the bug tracker do matter. For that reason, even if we had the means at hand to offer a level boost within the next couple days, it would not be put on FreshSeeker unless we are sure that this is what our current core community wants and needs to keep supporting us. We are a community-driven server, which is a phrase that you have probably heard a couple of times from different private servers. However, in our case, we can easily prove that this is actually true. Almost all of our important decisions are made based on your feedback. We are available as much as we can on Discord to talk with you about your suggestions, and we'll spend our time to consider how to implement them if they fit into our server's concept. Unless you have checked our website already, where you can see the current amount of players online in real time, you might be wondering how many players there currently are and how many we had for launch. As of recording this video, an evenly balanced Horde and Alliance mix of 250 players can be found on FreshSeeker, with a couple of them already running in normal dungeons and level 70. On July 10th, we had approximately 600 players online and another 600 being unable to due to a 5 hours long DDoS attack on our login server. That statement leads us to our second untrue claim. Yes, we did in fact experience a DDoS attack, and this is not a marketing gag to make us look better. And if it was, would we really go with just another 600 players? At this point you either believe us or you don't. All we can do is give you our word for it. The more important factor to look at is the amount of only 1,200 players at launch. While we never expected to directly compete with other, already established and therefore bigger TBC servers out there for the first cycle of FreshSeeker, 1,000 to 1,500 players is definitely what we were aiming for in the long run. So, how come we started out that low already? One word: advertisement. The 4 months between acquiring the core and launching the realm were not used properly to get our name out there. No matter how good a product is that you're trying to promote, it will not gain a lot of traction unless you make sure that everyone out there knows that it exists and what it can do. It is a fact that our weekly updates on Reddit were not enough to advertise the server, and that many players only heard of us for the first time after the launch, which is 100% our own fault. We deserve the population that we had at launch and need to do much better in the future. By mentioning the future, we have now arrived at the third untrue claim to look at. We are not a short-term cash grab server that will vanish once we've collected all your money. How could we, since we are currently refusing to open our cosmetics-only store? As we said in the beginning of the video, our goal is to create a forever happy afterhome to your Excalibur characters, while also providing a platform for the fresh experience that a lot of players seem to be after on a regular basis. Well, time for the too long didn't watch section of the video. Number 1. The current population is a result of allowing too many bugs to make it to the live realm and a strong lack of advertisement. While a lot of problems have already been fixed, there is more work to do, and we need to prove that we are more than just talk. Please look forward to our upcoming videos, where we will respond directly to your critique and also present you with our most recent bug fixes, hoping that you will see the problems being addressed that turned you off Entropius in the first place. Number 2. Shutting down or relaunching the server is not an option. We are a group of volunteers working on Entropius as a passion project. We were prepared to continue regardless of the circumstances if it meant achieving our initial goal. The current player base and their constant feedback is a big motivation to keep up the pace. Thank you for giving us a chance. Number 3. Level boosts to 58 or 60 are not an option to increase population, since we are not interested in turning off those who did choose to support us based on the initially made decisions. To us, you are people with names and not just numbers. At some point you have to abandon jumping from one emergency solution to the other to potentially improve your success, if it means to also abandon those who did stick with you until now. Therefore, our current adjustment of increasing experience rates to ×4 while also reducing all trainer costs by 50% is here to stay. Thank you for listening. If you want to check out our project, please use the Discord link in the description down below. Leave a comment, give us your feedback and allow us to respond to it with our next video. See you soon, Fresh Seekers.